It's a new round of SOT. John here, you there. I believe Jared is coming in at some point, and we'll discuss things. Maybe Nick will be here. I don't know. So we'll find out what's on everybody's mind here on Soccer Over There. Kind of teased it a little bit from Fairbanks to the Pharaohs, and from what did I say? From who was it? From where to Watford? Oh crap! You forget your own teas. I can't even remember my own teas. Oh, Warsaw to Watford. Yeah, Warsaw to Watford. So that's what we're getting into today. Obviously, there was some action today to discuss in the Brem, as Jason calls it. And we'll get into movement today. We've got a lot of transfer stuff to get into, transfer stuff that didn't happen. What's on your collective minds as we go here? We'll go over as many of the moves as we can find and or remember, at least in the overseas perspective of things. And there were a lot. There were some that didn't happen, and they started off in SDHAN with Jean-Philippe Mateta and the advanced medicals that were attached to him. And it was going to happen, then it didn't. And so Jean-Philippe Mateta started kind of this cascade of ideas. And is Crystal Palace going to be diving into things? Are they not? Are they going to continue to chase after Jurgen Strand-Larsen? Answer is yes. And I got the official release from Crystal Palace their own selves. And so you were looking at something in the neighborhood of 43 plus 5, close to the 50 that they were looking for. And, so Wolves makes out. Obviously, it doesn't really necessarily help them unless, well, that's right, they can't now. So, unless they can go to another market that's open, say, in South America for another week, Turkey for another week, on the inbounds, those kinds of things. So it would have to be somebody on a free. So keep an eye on all of that stuff. And good evening, Alex. Hopefully you are doing as well as possible, that the bell curve of recovery is going in this direction. And know that we always send our love your way. And hoping that the medication is working the way that it is supposed to, that recovery is on the upswing. And so know that that is always in our thoughts. So whatever's on your mind here tonight, there are not going to be picks of the week. Jason's not here. He is the controller of all of the numbers and the odds. I just know I didn't win, because if there was going to be a picks of the week segment, it really would have had to have been somebody that was, and I'm looking, and I have my sheet from last week, the sheet that I wrote down when Jason and everybody was going over the numbers. So please pass along to the Discord that these are going to hold for another week when it came to the picks. I actually started out 2-0, and then I lost 5 of 6 from that point. So 5 of 6. Jarrett and I did not get the tiebreaker. Jason did get the tiebreaker. And so I got East Kilbride off the top. I got Chelsea, and I was 2 for 2. And then I won 1 out of 6 from the remainder. So obviously I did not win the whole thing when it came to our perspective. So we'll find out who won last week after we did PSG in Newcastle, and Jaguares in Colombia, on the Carioca with Nova and Bangu, and Ghana with the Kotoko, and the Alaria Sante. And then in Poland, we got to talk about Poland because they had action today that included the team at the bottom of the table. And I know that's not really saying a whole lot, considering the difference between top to bottom, I think, is still at 14 points, which is stupid and ridiculous and insane. So we got to talk about Poland before we get out of here. And then France with Lyon and Lille. That was the last one. So literally what I did last week in picks of the week: won the first 2, lost 5 in a row, and then won the last one. Didn't get the tiebreaker. So that was me. So hopefully the Discord is what the Discord is, and you guys did better than I did. I just know I didn't win, unless everybody was just god awful. And I mean, so let's see. If we took number 3, then yeah, well, because then if I got the third one, and it would have had to have been either Jason or Nick that would have had to have come through and been different, and it would have been a draw. So Jason and Nick, so it would have been Jason at that point. And yeah, so if it's anybody, it's Jason. And we'll look at picks of the week next week when Jason's the temperature changes are really raging with his sinuses and everything. So that's kind of where we are with Jason. Just make sure that, if there was such a thing as a a sinus transplant, he needs one. But yeah, all these temperature changes, and I know he's not the only one that has been affected by it. But yeah, all of this up and down and up and down and up and down and cold and not as cold and really crappy and then crappy and cold and then just crappy and not cold. It's been doing some serious stuff to him. So obviously, just keep your thoughts out for Jason and his sinuses and Alex and his knees and everything going forward. All right. Let's get into what happened today. Obviously, Jared will be joining us in a bit. I think Jared, let's see, 2 hours behind. So Jared's fixing dinner probably. So if we go into what happened in the transfer deadline day, and transfer deadline day, I think went until, what was it, 1 or 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock this afternoon, East Coast time. So here's what goes down at the end of it all. And so it was 7 o'clock GMT, so 2 o'clock this afternoon. Here's the short version, and we'll get into each individual thing that was the big storylines and all of the movement and all this kind of stuff. So Milan pulled out of the Jean-Philippe Mateta deal. McNeil goes from Everton to Palace. That collapsed at the end. It was supposed to be a £20 million deal. Dwight McNeil was going to move over. Didn't happen. Sandro Tonali was not leaving Newcastle despite the agent's Arsenal offer. So basically, the agent kind of freelanced and kind of kicked the tires to Arsenal and was like, hey, yo, would you be interested in Sandro Tonali? And Tonali is happy. Tonali is happy at Newcastle because they were cool with him while he was serving his suspension. And Sandro Tonali, and Nick knows about loyalty. So Sandro Tonali's agent decides to freelance, from what we understand, and he's kicking the tires with Arsenal. Team didn't do anything either way, I don't think. And so it was like, well, Tonali's agent was just kind of like, well, offered to Arsenal by his agent, no talks with Newcastle, and obviously nothing developed by the end of the day. So Italy's rep, the Tonali's rep, reaches out to Andrea Berta over the midfielder. Arsenal, they've wanted to see if they could find a way to get Tonali for a long time. So Tonali's agent wanders over to Arsenal and goes, hey, yo, fam, would you be remotely interested in hanging out with him? Would you want to pick him up? Like I said, this is the agent. This is not like Eddie Howe or the PIF wandering over to Arsenal and going to Mikel Arteta and going, yo, dude, would you be interested in Sandro Tonali? This was the agent for Sandro Tonali sitting there going, hey, Arsenal, would you be interested? It's unsolicited from all indications. And Arsenal is like, what are you doing? And so obviously it was literally, you knock on Andrea Berta's door. And obviously, according to our friends at the Athletic, part of Berta's role is to explore situations when they present themselves. And he apparently did. However, with Newcastle not wanting to do a whole lot of business with like a couple hours to go in the window, because obviously if you decide to send Tonali on his way, who are you going to get as a replacement? Do you have anybody in-house that you're happy with that you think it can fill Tonali's void? Or you'd have to do some miracle shopping, like the guy during the holidays who knows he's screwed up and hasn't gotten the right gift, and he races down to the CVS, and you're trying to see if you can find something in the racks that'll fit. And you go, the 50-in-1 pocket knife. That'll be a great stock. That'll be a great gift for my wife. That's kind of what it was. That's kind of what it would be pictured to me. Basically, you're running into the CVS or the Walgreens or whatever store is open late, and you're going, ooh, that looks good. After the gift that you thought you got either wasn't going to make it on time, or it turned out you went the wrong direction. And so you send it to somebody else, or you sent it to your mother-in-law's house, and you didn't mean to because it was meant for your wife, and it's not going to be there in time. It's not coming back in time. So then Newcastle would have had to have gone to CVS or Target or whatever's open till like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and you're sitting there and you're looking in the racks and going, ooh, this Halloween T-shirt that's discounted 70% off. That'd be a great stocking stuffer replacement for what I got my wife. Not really. And hopefully some folks have learned that lesson already. But late in the window, no chance of finding a replacement. The gift was not going to match the bracelet that you got from the Shane Company. That's not going to happen. And you ended up shipping it to the wrong location. So Newcastle wasn't interested. They hadn't really been approached. It had all been outbound by Tonali's agent. And then they were like, no. And so Arsenal really couldn't do anything. Newcastle wasn't approached. They hadn't figured out what the replacement gift could be. And so the Tonali deal ended up just being the agent kind of going outbound and making sure that nothing was going to go down from a Newcastle perspective. And Arsenal was kind of like, even though they were looking for a replacement for Mikel Merino. So didn't happen. West Ham signed Axel Disasi on a loan deal from Chelsea. And Crystal Palace, yeah, the 43 plus 5 is what they were looking at. 43 million pounds and another 5 million in add-ons for Jurgen Strand-Larsen. So you get a 4.5-year deal there, option to extend for another 12 months. So 4.5 with another option for a year. 43 or just under $59 million plus $5 million in add-ons. Third arrival in the January window, despite not moving Jean-Philippe Mateta on. A couple of clubs were interested in Jurgen Strand-Larsen, and it was Forest and Leeds who'd made a bid earlier in the window. West Ham had kind of kicked the tires on it back in December, and then Crystal Palace is kind of like, hey, Newcastle pursued the striker last summer looking at 50 and 55, and Wolves was like, nah, we're good. So that was when they chased after Nick Voltemade, and we know what Voltemade has been doing for Newcastle. Strand-Larsen, 26 appearances. And they also signed Johan Vissa. So Strand-Larsen, 26 appearances, all comps, 6 goals, one of them in the Premier League, with the Wolves at the bottom of the table. We'll go through the table in a second because of the action that happened today. Scotty Tuhati and Burnley having to travel to Stadium of Light to take on Sunderland. Wasn't really that close, and the last 20 minutes was a painful watch. Celta de Vigo to Wolves, 14 league goals in the first season at the Molineux. Joined permanently following that summer, 27 million euros, signed a 5-year deal in September. So Strand-Larsen, initially you were thinking Mateta out, Strand-Larsen in. Now, not the case. At least the 20 million that they were looking to spend on Dwight McNeil, they didn't spend. And so now you've spent 48 on bringing Jurgen Strand-Larsen in, because it was going to be a 30 million euro deal, 35.6 million. And then the medicals that went a little bit more in depth, they were kind of like, nah. And so Mateta ends up staying, and you now bring in Jurgen Strand-Larsen. So there's that one. Breaking the transfer record twice in the window, but happy to be here, FC, right now. It's just kind of right there in the middle. Like I said, we'll get in the standings in a bit. Liverpool are going to bring Jeremy Jacquet in. He had a medical today. 55 million pound deal from Rennes. But the hook in this is that it's going to kick in the summer. Basically, Liverpool's like, we'll pick him up. We'll do you a solid. You can keep him so Rennes can stay up in Ligue 1. And then you can bring him over July 1st after the season's over. So Rennes was like, okay, that's cool. We can do that. Agreed to a contract until 2031 with an option for 2032 at 50 plus 5 million pounds in add-ons. So officially moving in the summer, and they once again are just throwing money at everything. We know the recent form, and if I was Liverpool and I was FSG or FSGK or FSGR or whatever acronym they are now, Fenway Sports Group, Keselowski, or whomever else has been added, if you didn't sack Arne Slot when you lost 5 in a row and lost 6 of 7, I figured the patience was going to be there this year. for keeping him in charge, and you're seeing them kind of turn things around a little bit. You're seeing Florian Wirtz figure things out. You're seeing Ekitike figure things out. And so you're seeing what Liverpool is able to do on the field. Got the engine warmed up. Everybody right now, they're on the same page. Liverpool's climbing the charts again. So you now are going to be adding to Kirkish, Wirtz, Ekitike. Isak has been injured, so I don't know if you necessarily count him. And it was a tough integration for Alexander Isak into what Arne Slot wants him to do offensively. Doing well in cup competitions, in the Gummy Bear, etc., but not in league play. But now you're seeing Ekitike come of comfortability. Florian Wirtz right now, folks are saying he's the best player that Liverpool has right now. Milos Kirkish. And there was that one goal that happened on the weekend where Kirkish started it. It goes Kirkish, and then it goes Kirkish to Ekitike, and then you end up with a goal. And I think that's obviously what they were looking for when they brought all these folks in. So you're looking at that deal happening as well. Atletico de Madrid announced Ademola Lookman got signed, and then you end up with one of the more intriguing transactions of the day is the last headline before we get into the other deals. Karim Benzema, much like CR40, or as we call Cristiano Ronaldo as he continues to age, Karim Benzema now is moving over to Al Hilal in the league that we don't condone, endorse, or promote, but we are going to talk about it from a news peg sense. Benzema joins Al Hilal from Al Ittihad. Basically, he was just like, I don't like it here. Y'all aren't making any moves to improve. And so I'm really not happy and I want out. Hey, can you slide me sideways? And they did that. They did an intra-league deal. And so Benzema goes from Al Ittihad to Al Hilal. He had joined Al Ittihad on a 3-year deal after leaving Real Madrid in the summer 23. Contract at the club due to expire in June. Lyon thought about chasing after him back in 2024, 6 months into his deal. And then after he was absent from team duty, stayed with Al Ittihad after that winter window closed. Situation there has remained complicated. 54 goals and 83 appearances since arriving. And once again, he's one of the high-profile players who left as the PIF took control of 4 of the biggest clubs: Al Ittihad, Al Nassr, Al Hilal, and Al Ahly. Al Ittihad brought in N'Golo Kante from Chelsea, Fabinho from Liverpool, and Benzema thought that this wasn't enough. April 24, he comes out and he publicly criticizes the transfer policy, saying he, quote, needed other players. Al Ittihad won the Pro League back in 24-25. Benzema was made an ambassador for Saudi Arabia for the 2034 World Cup. So there's your NIL money for Karim Benzema. And so they are 6th this year. 6. That's worse than this. This, and this. They're 6th currently in the league. 12 points behind Al Hilal, game in hand. Al Hilal has Ruben Neves, Darwin Nunez, and Moroccan international keeper Yassine Bounou. And so now, according to Guillermo Rai, that's what you have with Karim Benzema. So Disasi on a loan deal from Chelsea. Atletico de Madrid signed Elche's Rodrigo Mendoza, 5.5-year deal. Kyle Larin completes a deal to Southampton from Mallorca on loan with a pickup option in the summer. 15 times in 25-26 on loan at Feyenoord and scored 1 goal in Europa League. He's been at Besiktas and he's with the purple team. We know about his time with the purple team before he went to Turkey. 30 goals for Canada, sits in the country's all-time top scorers list, 7 behind Jonathan David. We mentioned the Jacquet deal. Wolves signed Marseille's Angel Gomes on a loan deal. Once again, not a whole lot of money attached. So you've got that. Former Manchester United Academy midfielder, 134 first-team appearances for Lille in 4 seasons before joining Marseille on a free. 20 appearances, all comps this season. Did not start a Ligue 1 match since November. Not named from the start in any of De Zerbi's 8 Champions League matches. And there's also talk that De Zerbi might be wanting out of there too. So you got to keep an eye on all of that. We'll pose the question probably tomorrow in SDHAM. What team had the worst window in the Premier League? Early returns from Max Matthews at the Athletic. He's thinking Palace. Club record fee of 35 for Brennan Johnson. Loney Evan Gassond had only scored twice in 21 matches for Villa. Strand Larson for $48 million. You're keeping Jean-Philippe Mateta, who doesn't want to be there. And so you got to hang on to him until the summer. Gahey leaves for 20. No replacement comes in. Bid rejected for Joel Ordonez earlier in the day. And so you're now looking at James Ward-Prowse going to Burnley, Nottingham Forest, only strengthening through Lorenzo Luca and getting Stefan Ortega. So the folks at the bottom that probably needed to make some kind of a push didn't. Wolves did, but they spent a lot of money outbound, and they gave up their best striker. So I think you can pretty much tell right there what Wolves' thought pattern on the whole thing is. West Ham, like I said, we'll look at this more in the morning, but when you look at the table after today, and what it looks like, once again, big win for Sunderland, keeping the beat. They were at a minus 108 against Burnley, who was a plus 347. So no real shock that at the Stadium of Light, you end up with a Burnley loss. It was tight for a while, and then Sunderland scores, and then it was pretty much Katie bar the door. And like I said, the final 20 minutes of the match was not a pretty watch. Was not a pretty watch. So with the Premier League now, the way that it is, Arsenal 6 points clear, and this is through match week 24. Over the next 10 days, you're going to have multiple matches. Arsenal 6 points clear of Manchester City. Really should be 4, but Manchester City blew the opportunity against Spurs on the weekend. Villa is at 46 points, and it really should be either 47 or 49. So you end up with an opportunity missed there for Aston Villa. Really should be 49 points. But you end up with Brentford scoring a Brentfordian goal. 1-0, down to 10, get the goal 1-0. They can't come back from that. And you end up with a 1-0 loss by Villa to Brentford. Big points for Brentford. We'll get to them in a second. Manchester United starting Chase Group, number 1. 41 points, unbeaten in 5. They've won 3 in a row. I still think Michael Carrick has kind of he's kind of FAFO'd him. He's FAFO'd his way almost into the gig. I mean, remember when they brought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Was it 18-21 they won in one stretch out of the blocks? So you end up with Michael Carrick at 41 points. Chelsea at 40. Heavy goal difference for Chelsea. So if any points on the board end up being ties with Chelsea odds are right now, short of the two teams at the top of the table, Arsenal and Manchester City, Chelsea's got the third best goal difference right now in the Premier League. Third best right now in the Premier League. Liverpool at 39 points. Bunch of draws, then the loss, and then the win last time out. That's Chase Group number 1. Then you end up with Chase Group number 2 starting at 7. Brentford at 36 points. Better goal difference than Sunderland by 3 goals. Fulham at 34, Everton at 34. Newcastle's lost 2 in a row. They're at 33. Better goal difference than Bournemouth. Brighton at 31. They've drawn 3 of 4. Spurs at 29. They've drawn their last 2. Better goal difference in Crystal Palace. Leeds at 26. They've hit each column once in the last 3. Forest, they're getting points. I mean, they've won 2 and drawn 2 in their last 4. 6 points clear of West Ham. 11 points clear of Burnley. And 18 points clear of Wolves, who are 1, 5, and 18. 8 points they have lost 2 in a row. It's that time where it appears that has dinner been served and otherwise created, sir?
Yeah, yeah, that part's done. Also, the other side effect was opening your non-work laptop, and then your computer goes, "Hey, it'd be really great right now. What if we did updates?"
Oh, Jesus.
So,
Oh my God. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
that's a blast.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we're done with that now. So we're
Mhm.
here now.
Mhm.
We're live.
Mhm.
Um, Contrary to what I assume Alex believes, alive in the dungeon.
Yes.
At least till the summer.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
summer will be out of the dungeon.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, no, we definitely will be because we're moving in the summer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I was just going over the highlights of the transfer window from an England perspective,
Yeah,
and
where
who had
everything's overpriced. Yes,
yes, absolutely
the
true.
the Whole Foods of the transfer world.
Yes, and so you're looking at like who didn't move, who needed to move, the top stories across the whole thing,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, Crystal Palace spent a lot of money. And Happy to Be Here FC is just kind of hanging around mid-table. I don't know if they were trying to get rid of Jean-Philippe Mateta. They didn't do that, but they spent 48 million by the end of it all, bringing in Jurgen Strand Larson. And a lot of folks are sitting there and pointing at that and going, "Bruh, you overpaid for that, and you're
It's
stuck
it's
with the dude
it's
that owns."
England. You're always overpaying in England.
Yes, yes,
It's just what you do.
yes,
Um, Although shout out to I think it was Fulham was trying to spend $35 million on an American striker and finally walked away from the table
yeah,
with PSV. Just
yeah.
PSV overplayed their hand for a striker that's I don't know that he's a $35 million striker.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about Pepe is that he's going to be out until mid-March anyway. That has been
Yeah.
expanded now to where he's for another 6 weeks. He's not going to be active with PSV. Yes, they're 17 points clear right now of everybody else, but the fact that you couldn't do anything with Ricardo Pepe until mid-March at the earliest.
Yeah.
I think they're going to revisit that deal in the summer, which is probably the smarter play for Fulham anyway.
It is, but I wanna know what the hell happened with PSV Eindhoven
Mhm.
because a team was about to give you over $30 million, 30 million euro, whatever the hell it is, either
Mm.
way. They're about to give you over 30 million of a certain currency that still has some liquid value on this planet for a guy who's gonna be out until March and who kinda has played above his head a bit
Mhm.
in a league where offense rules. Like,
Mhm.
feel like PSV overstretched here and popped their hamstring.
Mhm. Mhm. And so it's the staring contest that you get this time of year. Well,
Mhm.
what about 28? Well, no. What about 32? Well, what about 30? No.
And
What
you
about
got to because like, what was it, 35 that they said no to and they
yes?
walked
What is
away
it?
from?
35 to 37, depending on add-ons and that kind of a thing. I
And
saw
I
as
think
high as
personal
37.
terms had been agreed to.
Yeah.
So at that point, once personal terms are agreed to and you were over 30, like,
Mhm.
and this is understand as well that I'm coming from this as a person who is a naturally more risk averse person than a risk seeking person,
Right.
especially when it comes to gambling. Like, I don't.
I don't.
No, I don't like we have fun talk John, we have fun talking juice boxes and we have fun talking the insanity, of you blowing up your laptop and your phone looking for odds all over God's creation,
Yeah.
and we have fun with that, but I'm very risk averse in nature about all of this, and if you told me I could get to 30, I'm yeah, we're done. Like, "Oh, man, well, what if you could get 35?" I'm like, "Yes, but I've already hit at
Mm.
30 with a guy who is out until March.
Uh-huh.
And look, maybe he shows up in the World Cup and just goes bonkers ham sandwich on everybody,
Yeah. Mhm.
but maybe he doesn't. Maybe you never see that number again. PSV potentially kicking themselves in the foot there.
Mhm.
Kind of like the whole Dennis Schroeder thing. Like
Oh,
Dennis Schroeder, like I don't know if you saw the thing. Like Dennis Schroeder's like the second most traded player now in NBA history.
like 8?
Yeah, 8 or 9. Most of that was after he turned down like a 4-year, $80 million contract with the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
which always reminds me of Latrell Sprewell turning down a massive contract with the Timberwolves back in the early 2000s
Mm-hmm.
when he was there with Kevin Garnett. He
Yeah.
never got another offer like that.
Nope.
Like he said, like, I got kids to feed, famously.
Yes.
And he never got another contract, even in the ballpark.
Yes.
But man, that's and this is the fun of transfer day, man. But like, that's so risky. Like to be sitting there and saying, "Yeah, we're gonna hold out for 35, not 37. Let's give 38," and then you have a team walk away from the table, and maybe PSV feels really confident. Maybe they feel really comfortable. Like, you know what, we can get 40 for him in the summer. I feel better about that than like Josh Sargent, who,
oh my God,
Josh Sargent, who's like on the outs now.
Yeah, he is still
out of it.
Yeah, he is hanging out with the U21s at Norwich, and my guess is that if you were to ask Philippe Clement on a weekly basis about Josh Sargent, it'd be like ask the U21 coach.
Yeah,
because he ain't here, and
correct.
And the thing about Josh Sargent is that Norwich can chill for a bit because the window in Major League Soccer is in March. You got a month to 6 weeks to mess with it and figure out what's going on. But with Josh, the number that was floated by Toronto FC initially was 18. And Norwich basically tried to do anything and everything to keep from doing the spit take gif that we always see, in the lunchroom. That ain't going to cut it. And considering their outlay to bring him in the first place, it's going to have to be, I think, mid-20s at least to bring Josh Sargent over to this particular country. And
I feel like at this point now, you can also kind of be a dick about it. Where you're like,
absolutely.
Oh, that was the price then. Well, price of the bag's gone up, baby.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you could be Kevin Costner's character in Draft Day.
Oh yeah, the price changed 30 seconds ago.
The price is different than it was 30 seconds ago.
What a dumb movie! A beautifully dumb movie.
I mean, it was the Cleveland Browns.
I know, it was like you made a movie built on the entire concept of what if the Cleveland Browns and really, really good, where like the Browns got the number 1 pick, then through an existential crisis and it ended up with like the number 7 pick and then some. Like, oh God, what a movie! What a film!
Yeah, and I mean that literally that.
But then he retired and went to run a ranch up in the north, in like Montana, and convinced a bunch of people from the West Coast that they know what it means to be a cowboy.
Yes, literally, Philippe Clement is like Sonny Weaver Jr. And it's literally like, oh yeah, the price just went up than it was 30 seconds ago. Give me David and Putney into this.
Also, Sonny Weaver Jr. just sounds like a guy who is a GM for a team until he gets convicted of securities fraud.
Yes.
That's a man who either gets securities fraud or he ends up in college and gets like a Pat Dye level scandal.
Oh boy. Yeah. Or something as dumb as Mike Price or George O'Leary, perhaps.
Oh God, yeah. Please lie about your resume to everybody.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter that much.
No. So here's the background on Josh Sargent.
Yes.
So right now, obviously, Norwich is saying the 18 million from Toronto FC, that ain't going to cut it. So he's hanging out with the U21s right now. And basically going back to July 11, he refused to play in an FA Cup match against Walsall, our friends from Walsall, who have Nofo Brewing right here. Nofo Brewing, Walsall, right there. He basically, according to Philippe Clement, texted him and said, nah, fam, I ain't playing. I want out. He texted him.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
Yeah, so he texts allegedly, according to Philippe Clement, he's like, "Nah, I'm not playing in this FA Cup match against Walsall. I'm not gonna, don't wanna." And that's all one word, I guess. And so he's under contract through 2028. Josh Sargent
Yep.
is at Norwich, but he is now hanging out with the U21s. And Norwich accepted an offer of 21 million from Wolfsburg back in July, which is the exchange rate with the US would be about 28 million in US dollars. Toronto's offer of 18 would be about 13 million pounds. So you're looking at about a $10 million difference.
But you're not going to get that 28 million with a guy who has frozen himself out of your squad, and you have exiled him to the U21s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not the way this works. This isn't FIFA.
No,
You can't freeze a guy out
no.
and then say, we're still going to ask for the same thing we asked for last year. Is he playing? In a sense. Playing
Yeah,
with the first team? No.
no,
Is he scoring goals? No.
no,
Well, I'm not paying 28 for it then.
no. And you wonder you wonder really who is if who's going to blink first. Is it going to be Toronto FC kicking another couple of million in there, and Norwich sitting there going, yeah, okay, we'll come down a little bit, and you kind of meet somewhere in the middle, like in the low 20s or something?
And I feel like you could, to your point, John, I feel like you could like put some like performance incentives on there and a sell on clause.
Yeah,
Like I feel like if you're Toronto, you could say, you know what? We'll throw in 4 million in performance incentives if he balls out. And then because MLS is still a selling league, maybe we sell him back to England or back to Germany or something, and we'll give you a chunk of the sale.
yeah. Once your kid turns like 5 or 6 and gets into kindergarten, and you feel a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
I think now he's got 3 kids, and
He's
he
got
wants.
3 or 4, man, and, like, he just, like, he's speed running the Johann Sebastian Bach philosophy.
Yeah. And it's yeah, I think it's going to be low 20s. I think Toronto's going to get it done, but I think it's going to be closer to the deadline. Right now, just so everybody knows, Norwich is 4 points clear of relegation in the championship right now. They're 4 points clear. And we know how blanking insane the championship is in general when it comes to bunches and groupings and chasing after the promotion playoff and being in the relegation fight and having a good week. If you're playing twice, you play twice in a week, you get 2 wins. You could go from 13th to 7th. I mean, that's just how it
Yeah.
is. It is that chaotic. And right now, Norwich had a 3-game win streak snap, 3-game win streak to get out of the relegation zone. Snapped last time out, and they're only 4 points clear. Blackburn, who's now lost 3 of 4, and they sacked their manager, and it looks like Slaven Bilic might be sliding into that space. They're right now the top team in the relegation zone. Oxford United is at 27. And then Sheffield Wednesday has won once in 29, and they've given up 57 goals. They've only scored 18, and they have minus 7 points because of all the deductions, because of Dafon Chansiri and his worthless ownership. That
I hate to tell you, but the math ain't math in there for success.
no. And news.
Not to disrespect them,
No,
but
no, absolutely not. News out from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Germany. We all remember back on the 25th, about a week ago, Musa Sila was supposed to come to NYCFC from Schalke, transfer fee of up to 7 million euro, including bonuses. Sila posts on his Instagram, Schalke fans, you are crazy. Blue heart, white heart. I'm coming home, period. MS. Translation. Move to NYCFC, according to Plettenberg, has
okay.
now collapsed 100%, reported earlier today, returning to Schalke for the time being. So no details yet as to why everything went down in the toilet. But Musa Sila is not going to NYCFC now, according to Florian Plettenberg at Sky Germany. So we got that news to pay attention to. Somebody you thought you had in the window, you don't got, and you got to figure out what the heck's going on.
That's the thing about it, though, right there. You're like, we got this. We'll get it across the line. No, you won't.
No, you won't.
I mean, dude, I watched it today in Glasgow where Celtic thought they had somebody locked up and they failed the physical. And I think they renegotiated the deal down. One of those where like, we're still gonna do this, but those numbers mean we're gonna do it for less money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's never again. It is never done until they sign on the line that is dotted.
Correct. Always be BC closing, always be closing, always be closing until you have the picture of the individual holding the jersey with the smile on their face, wearing the jersey on the table with the contract. You are not touching with the pen, but you are smiling over the pen and the contract that are not touching each other and going until one of those two photos is up. It hasn't happened.
And let me tell y'all, there have been many graphics that have been made in the world that have never seen the light of day. Where it gets far enough down the line where the graphic gets made. And like social media sitting there with the graphic in like a temp folder that you keep on your desktop for quick access,
Yep.
and you're just waiting to load it. And you're like, okay, just tell us when and it's going out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't get that. And sometimes those die in the temp folder, baby.
And you hope that those things never get kicked back.
That'd be it honestly, get outside the stat. God, oh my God, I'm gonna do that now. I don't know when or how I would do that. Oh, I should find a way to do that. Just go around to a bunch of clubs when the statute of limitations had expired. Like, hey, uh, what, what, uh, what announcement graphics did you have built that you never got to use?
Oh, that's great.
But you got to get outside of a certain statute of limitations, I'm sure,
And so it's like,
and to make sure there's no hard feelings.
yes. Oh man, that'd be fantastic to get those squared away.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fantastic to get it. I feel like Richard Kind all of a sudden. That's fantastic. Uh, so, that'd be great if you knew folks in like multiple. Doesn't matter the league really, but just multiple graphics departments and PR departments. Hey, we heard about that deal? Is that full screen still on somebody's hard drive? Yeah, go back and kick in graphics and see what they've got. All of those transactions that you thought were close that got kicked back. Yes, Musa Sila is one of those. Brief Chaperone SB. You're about to get your ass blocked.
We're close to safe harbor, I suppose.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's 8:44. I mean, I think we're okay. So blocked and now reported. Good evening, OG. Glad to have you with us here on SOT. While I'm blocking something, right now,
Yes.
Rangers and Celtic. Oh my God.
Rangers has spent an unholy amount of money. I love it. Everyone's so terrified that Hart still leads the league by 6 points.
I know.
Well, they won't go away. And frankly, Rangers drew this weekend. They probably shouldn't have. Jack Butland stood on his head against Hibbs.
Wow.
Celtic and Rangers are just so consistently beautifully incompetent.
Oh, wow.
In 2025, 2026. And I throw the Wolford Nazi thing aside. Just throw out that bathwater.
Yeah.
The squad's been so bad.
God, don't get me started.
That even now, like Martin O'Neill's like, I'm doing the best I can, guys. Because
and it's okay for Martin O'Neill to say that, but not for Wolford Nazi.
Well, no, here's the thing though. Martin O'Neill was getting results. But they weren't pretty, and the underlying numbers did not support the results continuing. Wolford Nazi's underlying numbers supported things turning around, but also it is Scotland and it's Celtic where they care more about winning than they care about how you're winning or sustainability. They are so short-sighted about you have to win right now, and Martin O'Neill was doing that, but nothing about it. I think they gave up like one goal, but like they weren't producing much. They were getting a lot of good breaks going their way, which is fine. You don't apologize for good luck.
No,
in my opinion. But now all those results have kind of shifted back on Celtic, not in terms of a ton of losses.
Yeah.
Like they got through in the Europa League. I mean, they're through the next round into the playoff, but like and I think he tried to gently say as much even during his first stint as interim of like, we're going to do what we're going to do. We're going to do what we can. And then Nancy comes and goes, and he's right back in there, and it's like, we're going to do what we can. They brought in a couple guys, but man, Rangers out here splashing money. They're trying to break it up.
Mm-hmm. and tied on points or even on points, 24 matches through match week 24, 48 points each. Goal difference is now the same. And now it's Celtic, who has scored 6 more goals than Rangers, has them right now in second and Rangers in third.
Yeah.
Unreal. Rangers transfer deadline day. Let's see what the Rangers. Let's see if Rangers did anything. Scottish transfer deadline. Okay, here we go. Relive the drama. All right, so 16 arrivals in the Premiership. Celtic, Dundee, and Hibs all making 3. Rangers got Ryan Naderi on a long-term deal from the German 3rd Division. Aberdeen signed Dennis Geiger from Hoffenheim on loan. Motherwell kept hold of Tawanda Maswanhise and even got Stephen Walsh back on loan from Celtic, who signed striker Junior.
Yeah, that like Celtic was going to bring him back.
Yeah.
And then they kind of did. They're like, actually, what if you're fine? You can go. We got a new defender, and we don't actually need you.
Yes.
It's such a dumb. It's a lot, John.
Yes. So let's see. Signed striker Junior Adamu, center back Benjamin Arthur, and winger Joel Mavuka all on loan. Also insured Arne Engels would go nowhere after turning down a reported £25 million deal from Nottingham Forest.
Yep.
And Rothwell leaves on a permanent to Sheffield United. And Hearts Wilson leaves on a Spurs loan deal. And let's see. Oh, yeah. And Auchiche and Clarkson are out for Aberdeen. What they also don't tell you is Dante Polvara going from Aberdeen to All Caps. And we're going to catch up with our friends from Ball Watchers on Wednesday to discuss everything going on with St. Louis City SC, including Dante Polvara. So Dante Polvara now a part of everything for City SC, and we'll talk to our friends from Ball Watchers on SDHAM on Wednesday. So,
and while we go MLS side of it, Seattle.
Yeah, we haven't gone to Obed Vargas yet. We haven't talked about that yet.
That's why I'm putting it on a tee for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Obed Vargas, and obviously we'll catch it. We'll talk about it a little tomorrow. We'll run
with Nico about this
snippet of what our friends at Sounder at Heart were discussing today about Obed Vargas. And obviously more in depth on Thursday when Nico drops by. But Obed Vargas now, and this is the hope with where Obed Vargas is concerned, that folks are sitting there and they're going, we hope that this is a transaction where he doesn't just sit.
Yeah. I think that's always the hope, John, is that it's not a transaction where a guy just sits. A James Rodriguez kind of things, or Martin Odegaard when he went to Real Madrid both of them went to Real Madrid back in the day. Yeah, you hope he doesn't just sit or get loaned to like second, third division. He's playing on the Canary Islands.
Yeah.
Where he's at least in that instance, he'd get minutes.
Yeah.
But it's exciting for the kid, though, man. Like, he gets to go to one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's been amazing in MLS.
And I think I'm trying to find out what the number was posted at. I'm trying to see if our friends at Sounder at Heart, $3 million fee plus a substantial sell-on is what our friends at Sounder at Heart are saying.
I was about to say, that's what I had heard too, is like $3 million sounds about right. And then
20% sell-on according to Sounder at Heart.
Yeah, that is a firm belief in what he can become. And I think that's fair. I think you would find most Sounders fans would be 100% on board with that, John.
Yep.
And that expectation.
Oh, no doubt. And this is where you want him to play. You don't want him to be Johnny Cardoso 2.0.
No.
You want him to get integrated. You don't want Johnny just sat for a while. Now he's getting regular minutes, but you want Vargas to be a part of that equation from the top. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that we're probably all going to be staring at now. It gives us a reason to watch La Liga on the weekends to see how
it does
where Obed Vargas is now.
Yeah, it does. It does that. Especially the people in Seattle, because we did the same thing with Thiago Almada.
And we do.
We still do.
Yeah.
Even though he's been sold 2 times and,
Hang on.
uh,
Yeah.
hey, Texter,
Yeah.
my money.
God, don't. Oh, jeez. Oh man. Yeah. That's just. Yeah, and he could be loaned, and that would be like 2.5 technically, I guess, with Thiago Almada
Yeah,
before Atlanta United gets their $30 million.
even
And
any of it, because sounds like they still haven't paid any of it,
nope,
which is
they have
fun.
not. They have not. They have not. No. Let's see. Yeah. So, and I'm checking Botafogo message board guy right now.
That's not reliable. Like, I've seen, like, 3 people from Botafogo be like, "Ah, they made the first payment," and then immediately the club or possibly through Doug, it's like, "No, they haven't.
No,
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 it
they have
happened."
not.
It's like your kid telling you they cleaned their room,
Mhm.
and you're like, "I'm looking at it.
Mhm.
Looks like a bomb went off."
Yeah, no, it's like, so your parent, you're in college, and you've got that first apartment,
Yeah.
and your parents are coming, and they say, "Yeah, we're driving over. We'll be there in a half an hour." You hide
Just
the people's
shoving stuff.
you're
Ah.
hiding the pizza boxes. You are not cleaning up the apartment.
No, you're stabilizing it.
Yes.
This isn't surgery, this is stabilization.
Mhm. Yeah, you're
So
you're in critical condition,
yeah,
and you're just trying to make sure that the patient's vitals are stable.
yeah. Like, we have done a tracheotomy with a ballpoint pen here. We haven't actually fixed you.
Mhm.
But yeah, belabored analogies aside,
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll get something like that. I feel like every couple days we're getting like somebody from Botafogo's side, whether it's a message board unofficial or whatnot, is they made the first payment. And then like
Oh,
Doug has to hit up the
no word yet.
hit up like Atlanta United's media relations. Um
No, no.
and media relations is like, no.
Mm-mm.
And Doug's like, nope, they said they haven't gotten a payment yet.
Mhm.
Because people are hanging on to this now. So now like let me tell y'all, like, this time of year is why media relations people have an excuse to drink should they choose to, because they are handling credential requests,
Oh my
both
god.
seasonal and
Mhm.
temporary and game to game.
Yeah.
They are dealing with getting new players media trained. They're making sure they have translators in. They're making sure everybody knows the rules. New guys are going through um, the proper trainings they have to go through the club to know how to act. Like, it is an impossible um it is an impossibly busy time
Mhm.
for like media staffs of clubs right now. And I would imagine if we could ask them uh the last thing like Johannes wants to do,
Oh, g
who's part of the Atlanta United media staff, who we reference all the time, because
oh,
Johannes, if you ever see on Twitter, Johannes is the guy who is going to find the stat. He's gonna find the obscure stat or
mhm.
the stat that matters, that really makes your heart sing, um, and he is the keeper of lore
Yes.
of the stat book. The last thing Johannes probably wants to be doing is answering questions about, "Hey, did Botafogo pay or not?" They have other things to do. Media
Mhm.
relations has so many other things to do. The last thing they wanna do is be answering questions about John Texter not paying his debts, because
Yeah.
the answer is no.
Yes. Correct. The answer is an emphatic, it's more like it to this point, it's more like it they don't even say no. Literally, you're just kind of cocking your head, and you get that look on your face like, "Really? You asked that question?" And, I this is where I tip my hat to Jason in all of this. And Jason has been tracking down anything and everything when it comes to all of the tangled financials of John Texter and Botafogo, and just all of the interweavings and how folks are beyond angry, not just in one country but two. You have two countries and two continents that are just absolutely angry at fan bases. I mean, you're getting into Foster Gillette territory now, man.
Like, we're getting into, like, if he goes back in the country, we need to, like, put a tracker on him.
Mm,
Somebody needs to hide an air tag in his shoe and
mhm.
then put another one under his skin while he sleeps.
Yeah,
Put it deep enough so they can't cut it out easy.
yeah.
Because we need to, like, some of these guys, man, like, you get these. the traditional stereotypical cocky American vibes, man. Of like, yeah, I'm gonna go in and splash some cash and make things great. And look, Texter won trophies. Don't get it wrong. Like Texter built
Yeah.
and funded Botafogo to be what they are. Um, it's amazing how quickly that goodwill can run out because it has run the hell out, John.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're a hot financial mess.
Yes. And right now, the latest that we can bring forward is that, and once again, we'll take a peek at this again tomorrow. Botafogo, and this is from our friends at the Fogoalnet, and this is their wire service. Botafogo continues to hold meetings to discuss the investment promised by John Texter. Where have we seen that sentence before? With financing from GDA Luma Capital and Hutton Capital. And like I said, we'll probably go into this a little bit more in depth tomorrow on the AM. Because in addition to John Texter discussions, we're going to have Jordan Gardner coming on tomorrow at 10 to discuss his purchase of Kelty, and he and his group with Kelty. And right now, it's a team that's at the bottom of League One in the Scottish Pyramid. You want to sit there and you go, why? We're going to ask, and we're going to find out. So Texter goes to GDA Luma Capital and Hutton Capital. And those two entities, and by the way, GDA Luma, when they came online 3 years ago, there are two dudes that were tied to GDA Luma, in addition to the normal names that are attached to it, including Mr. DeLuma. One has the last name Boley, and one has the last name of Clowray. Tied to GDA Luma Capital when it came online 3 years ago. How much involvement they have currently, I don't know.
I mean, we could get the Glazers involved too. Let's just bring everybody to the table.
Oh, absolutely. And so GDA Luma Capital and Hutton Capital, what they do is they look at distressed assets and they go, ooh, look at that. And GDA Luma actually saved Cirque du Soleil at one point in its career over the last 3 years. They were
Cirque du Soleil.
They were the dudes that went in and helped refinance Cirque du Soleil's debt and helped them to be where they are right now. I don't know what their debt carriage is, but they got into Cirque du Soleil and tried to help them out of their financial mess.
Okay.
What they do is they look at distressed assets and they go, ooh, okay, we see something in your asset portfolio. We will give you X amount of dollars. I'm sure the interest rate is astronomical, like it was with Ares initially, like we saw with John Texter. Was it the 19.4% interest rate that he had it for one of his transactions?
I mean, man, it was like brother might as well have taken out a payday loan, John.
Yeah, and that's what these basically are, except there's a lot of zeros to the left of the decimal place.
Yeah.
Apparently,
and so therefore the interest also.
Yes.
Hi, David. Welcome. Sorry, there are no picks of the week tonight.
Right.
Jason is dead.
Yes.
Not literally.
Jason hopefully is trying to recuperate from all of the meteorological madness that has been going on the last week. So GDA Luma and Hutton look at distressed assets. They see something in the portfolio they like. They say, okay, you know what? We'll give you basically something akin to pennies on the dollar, or we'll give you an investment. The interest rate's going to be astronomical, and you got to take it or not. So apparently, according to Fogalnet in Brazil, the first installment from GDA Luma and Hutton is $28 million.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder what that could cover. So John Texter explains the current situation after meetings throughout the weekend, including after the matchup against Fluminense. An audit has been commissioned to analyze the conditions of the investment. And so then Texter, in an interview with GE Globo, with Globo Sports, quote, I want to clarify exactly where we stand regarding the funding. I was disappointed I couldn't address the complexities of this on Thursday because we wanted to make a significant announcement before the game against Cruzeiro. The 4-0 win over
to address the complexities.
Yes, in case anyone has forgotten. And we have more than $25 million in an account. And I'm guessing that's what this is, this first tranche that's coming from GDA Luma and Hutton. First installment of a much larger funding that we are detailing and describing more deeply here for the benefit of the social club. At this moment, Ares has, in fact, been supportive. It's because Ares has invested $500 million in 3 separate tranches in by the end of 2025 into John Texter. That's why they're supportive. Because it's been $500 million at a massive percentage. They damn well should have been supportive in this because they've invested all this money. Texter continues. Sorry, I sidebarred. May have been some indications to the contrary, but Ares supports the inflow of money into the club. Eagle Bidco, the entire board, before I made changes, approved the resolution in support of this funding. Texter began in the interview with GE. And then he goes into, we're not just trying to finance this transfer window and the transfer ban. Want to ensure that we solve the problem once and for all. I'll go into this more in depth tomorrow. But right now, he said, we're not just trying to finance this transfer window.
But he doesn't have a choice. They're transfer banned.
Right now, the 3 windows. Yeah, 3 windows to the ban.
Carry on, John. Sorry.
No, it's
I keep getting in the way. I'm just like, brain just turns into like an angry.
No, it's and so interview he gave to GE early hours of Monday. He spoke about the debate he had with Tyler Aruda. O Globo reported that he even fired the CEO, meaning Texter, a decision that had no practical effect due to a court injunction in force prohibiting changes in the administrative and corporate structure.
I was about to say, that didn't even matter. Like, because he can't, like, you can fire the CEO in like name only. You do the same thing with like tech director or whatever. Like, you can fire them in name only. It'll make you feel all warm and fuzzy and special inside, but that's about it.
He goes, and I'm going to see if I can find this sound and see if we'll play it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's a much bigger situation than just Botafogo. It's a transaction where we're seeking to refinance our creditor, Eagle, meaning Ares, is investment in Eagle. The reason we're doing and restructuring these things has a lot to do with the overall strategy, which doesn't only affect Botafogo, parenthetical expression, no joke. I'm not sure if Tyler had the full scope of the situation. Tyler Aruda has been contracted by GE Globo to comment, but has yet to respond. So that's the latest.
Anytime I get like I'm not sure they had all the information. It's right up there with all due respect.
Yes.
And then whatever comes right after that is just a long, elaborate way to say kiss my ass.
Yes.
It's just such a condescending way to I don't think they had the full scope.
Yeah. So according to Informafogo,
just say you think you're untouchable, please.
Yeah. Texter apparently in Botafogo Social, meaning the SAF, according to Informafogo, which has on the Twitters 48,000 followers, have to keep an eye on kinds of things. So
y'all, South America's built different.
Yeah. Expectation is Texter would make an investment of about 150 million real by Thursday. Pay off the transfer ban, maintain cash flow. That's that 25 that he was talking about in the previous quote. BTG Bank expected to centralize the negotiations to avoid new moves in the courts behind the scenes. Atmosphere remains tense, and CEO Taito Aruda's situation is complicated after wearing down relations with Texter. And it mentions GDA Luma and Hutton. Here's the phraseology from Informafogo. Texter's new group of investors may involve funds such as GDA Luma Capital and Hutton Capital, which we know is with investments / loans at rates above market levels.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. According to the club's power brokers, there aren't any.
It's called predatory lending, and when you screw the pooch like this, you put yourself in a situation where you're now looking at predatory lending, going like, that might be the life raft that saves me, even if it is covered in poison ivy.
It's like, what was it in what was it? Was it in Dune where Kyle MacLachlan had to stick his hand in the tree trunk and try not to get bit by the snake or whatever and not die? And you stick your hand in there as this is the original Dune, where he sticks his hand in.
I was about to say, well,
you stick your hand in there, and if the snake bites you and you die, then you die, and then your loyalty's tested. So anyway, we'll get into it more tomorrow, but apparently, as of right now, your John Texter update is he's gotten his first tranche of money from GDA Luma and from Hutton, and we have reached out to GDA Luma to see if they will respond. They've got offices in Miami and New York. And so we have gone to their media relations firm to see if anyone from GDA Luma will come on SDHAM to explain their business model. And so, am I anticipating anybody coming on SDHAM to discuss the business model of GDA Luma? No. But if they want to address the situation involving John Texter, cool, great. I'm not anticipating that. But what I did is I approached it from the idea of, we want you to come on to educate our audience about what it is that you actually do and how you go about doing it and how these relationships are formed. So it's more finding out about their approach of asset management and interest rates and determining, yeah, we see something here and we're going to give you this money at this astronomical rate. As you say, a payday loan with a bunch of zeros at the number. But so we've reached out to GDA Luma, waiting to find out what's going on with them, and we'll see what the latest is if they decide to answer any emails through their PR firm. So we've yet to hear back from them, but late last week we reached out, haven't heard anything back yet. So that's where we are with GDA Luma anyway.
It's kind of all you can do right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Conca Champions, by the way, and we'll get into that tomorrow as well. Conca Champions is, by the way, Conca Champions starts tomorrow. We're back at it. Our buddy John Arnold's going to be joining us on Friday to discuss the end of what happened in match day 1 for the matchups that are going to be around. And tomorrow morning, we're also going to hear from our buddy Christian Jack. Forge and Tigres are going to be playing tomorrow night, 7:00 kick. And I imagine all of these will be on the FSs. My guess is FS2, if not 2 to NA. And in Hamilton, Ontario, where this matchup is going to be, it is going to be, odds are, one of the coldest matches in the history of the tournament.
We'd love to see it.
At kickoff. Right now, it is, you have and I'm trying to, literally, Christian Jack was on the field at Tim Hortons, or whatever they call Ivor Wynn now these days. It is apparently, possibly, probably, maybe, minus 16 Celsius is the lowest temperature that has ever been recorded in the tournament. And it appears that the matchup tomorrow is going to be lower than that.
Okay.
They're looking at minus 17, if not lower. And so the easiest conversion is double it and add 30 for your temperature. So minus 34, add 30. So you're looking at the possible kickoff of minus 4 Fahrenheit.
That's beyond the pale for me. That's a safety issue.
Yeah.
And then you also get like, man, we get this all the time, John, in football.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was the Tennessee players who went out when it was like below freezing, and they went out and warmed up with no shirts on to prove they were tough, and then got absolutely drug around the field by Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain point where, like, yeah, it's fun to think about putting someone in a cooler, kind of like Doug's character in Cool Runnings.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes a legitimate safety issue where you get into frostbite and tissue literally freezing and dying, and your skin cells freezing because that moisture exists, turns ice and causes problems short term and long term.
Wind chills, by the way.
There's a reason Bodo Glimt like shifts the way they play.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wind chills, by the way, minus 24 Celsius. Once again, double and add 30. So wind chills minus 18 Fahrenheit. And it's not even going to be like snowing or anything in Hamilton. It's going to be like partly cloudy.
Worse, man.
Literally, it is going to be 4 below, wind chill of minus 18 Fahrenheit. And it's not even going to be like snowing. It's not going to be like the CPL final like we had with Atletico Ottawa, where you had a bicycle kick with the orange ball in mounds of snow. It's going to be just like bitterly, nastily cold.
Well, see, you can relate to this better than a lot of people, John, from your CFL days.
Yeah, I know.
Because I know you did the one game where, like, the door was frozen.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
I covered full disclosure for those that may not know. I spent 5 or 6 years as the US correspondent for one of the 3 at the time Canadian TV sports networks. And I would go up north. I covered 2 Grey Cups when I was there. When one was in Calgary and one was in Edmonton. And
I just can't imagine how cold Edmonton is at the end of the year.
well, and I mean, this is like late November.
That's what I mean.
This is late November in Edmonton. And this is when we are outside we are outside the locker rooms. We're outside the field house at
Yeah.
Commonwealth Stadium.
It
And
used to be the Edmonton Eskimos before they changed to the Elks.
yeah, and I mean, why? I know why, but why?
The Elks logo's good, though. If you're gonna make that change, they got a good logo out of it.
Yes, and so you go and literally you end up with
John, correct.
you end up with and you know this from equipment in television and radio where you're going from one extreme to the other. You open a door,
Let me
and
tell you what happens to batteries, kids.
uh-huh,
They hate it so much.
you're
Your battery just
and we're outside the field house. And there's a setup where you go in, and you can go and get your coach interviews and all this kind of stuff. Or you can turn the other direction and go to the locker rooms. Literally, everything's fine, but the thing is you have to stand outside the field house because the field house is not open until, like, 2 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
And then they'll open the field house, and you can get all your setups and everything, and then you're on your own. You go from a lens that is not covered by a lens cap. You can see everything fine. The second you go into the field house, it fogs up.
yeah,
And
so that moisture just hits.
you are praying to God that you can get that moisture out from inside the lens in time to
Mhm.
get all of your interviews done.
You almost have to take the damn thing apart.
Yeah. And
Like, you deconstruct the camera, which
yeah,
is not an easy feat,
no,
nor is it, like, recommended.
no.
Because you mess with that lens, you'll screw up your shot and you'll be cooked.
Yes. And so you
Carry on.
go to you're going to Edmonton, and then you make the left-hand turn at the time, like I said, and this is many moons ago. But you go and you end up in the locker room, and there's a moment where you have a very let's see, how do I phrase this? A very emotional player for one of the teams. And he
He's in the
bas
moment.
he well, yes, he's in the moment, and um his energy, shall we say, was one of those where he always had a chip on his shoulder uh, dating back to his time in American college football.
Okay.
And this was at Nebraska
Sure.
when he was a running back, and then he went north to play in Canada because none of the teams in the National Football League would touch him because of his history. And so he ends up going to Edmonton. His team wins, knocking off the home team in Edmonton. And this is 2002, by the way. So in 2002, Edmonton's playing at home as the Eskimos. They hadn't been to the Elks. That's only a couple of years old. So they go and they play the Eskimos at Commonwealth Stadium. And Shania Twain was the halftime. And
Beautiful.
uh,
Absolutely. 10 out of 10.
and so
Full marks.
and
Shania
literally,
Twain, Canadian legend.
yeah, and she was, and I got to Commonwealth early that afternoon, and I'm parked outside, and she's literally doing sound check when I get there, and I open the door, and you hear sound check coming out over the top of Commonwealth Stadium, so you know what's going to be happening. And so game's over. You're going into the field house. Some folks turn right. They want to get the coach sound. I'm turning left. I'm going into the Montreal locker room. Lawrence Phillips is that running back. Lawrence Phillips was known to be a rather emotional sort when he was a football
Very
player.
polite.
And what he and somewhere, and you really want story time with John? Somewhere in my stacks of stuff, I have Lawrence Phillips game gloves from the 2002 Grey Cup. I have those. He is standing on his bench in front of his locker that was assigned to him in the visitors' locker room. And he is MFing everybody that's got a camera or a microphone.
Beautiful.
What the blank are you going to do now? What the blank are you going to talk about now? You've been blanking me around all year long. And his offensive linemen are standing next to him on this bench. They are a foot above the floorboards on this bench. And it's one of those old wooden boards, you know. So Lawrence Phillips, he's MFing every TV person walking in the room, including me. His offensive linemen, who are rather large gentlemen, are standing next to him and egging him on. Yeah, Lawrence, what are you going to blank and do now? TV, what are you going to blank and talk about now? What are you blank and blank and blank? So literally, Lawrence Phillips, Montreal goes to Edmonton. They win 25-16, first championship in 25 years. Anthony Calvillo, Grey Cup MVP, and Lawrence Phillips was a part of that team for that 1 year. He goes, wins a Grey Cup championship. And so that's the kind of cold that you're standing in that day. It's
Hey, you're fine.
got to be maybe 0, and I'm being optimistic. It was 0 in daylight. Then you're in the press box. Then you're standing outside the field house waiting for the field house to open while the game's going on, and Edmonton's trying to mount a comeback late. Then you go inside, and you're going to be MF'd by Lawrence Phillips in the locker room after they win the championship. That was cold, and then you get bitched at. That is not a fun back-to-backer.
The overarching point being, yeah, it's gonna be really, really cold, and it's not gonna be a stable place. And look, there's a difference between like a humid cold and a dry cold too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know a lot of people have experienced that. There's something about like for me, John, there's something about like the dry cold that is more tolerable.
Yeah.
That humid cold gets in your bones, but
Mm-hmm.
cold is cold when you're talking about wind chills of -18, man, and like that's if I'm the visiting team,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to CONCACAF and be like, I'm not doing this
Mm-hmm.
because I got guys who, not even a matter of like they're not used to it. Like if they get frostbite
Uh-huh.
and they can't play,
Mm-hmm.
what am I gonna do? Like those are investments. This is 2026. This isn't 1954 where
No.
he might get frostbite and he's got to go back into the mines next week.
Yeah.
Like these guys are investments now. I'd -18
Yeah, no.
wind chill is
No, no.
not that's a bridge. That's a couple bridges too far for me, John.
Yeah, well, and I can guarantee you that oh god, who is it from Tigres that never travels north? He always stays in Mexico and is there for the second legs. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy now. Oh, Gignac. Yeah, Gignac never goes to the first leg. He never goes on the road. He always stays in Mexico and waits for the home leg of the two. So Gignac will be warm. Gignac will be back home, and he will not be. He'll be watching from home in this one. But believe it or not,
Yeah, some people's gonna be misplacing their passport.
dude,
Dude.
yeah. Tigres massive favorite in those conditions, by the way, to -185.
Mhm.
Forge at +436, and your 90-minute draw is a +300 right now in the composite. Uh-huh. Yeah. So Tigres, massive favorite on the road where it's going to be -16 wind chill. Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah. Nope.
I do not want.
Nope. The other two matchups on tomorrow night at 7:00 kick, Forge and Tigres, by the way, at whatever they're calling Hamilton Stadium these days. The other two matchups are yet another one on the road, Olimpia hosting Club America. Olympia hosting Club America to plus 344. Club America minus 135. Your draws to plus 252. And then the late game. This one will be fun. San Diego FC hosting leg number 1 against Pumas. Favored at a minus 105. Draws a plus 247, and so are Pumas to win a plus 247. I want to see what the crowd's going to be like at the Murph Dragon late night tomorrow for that matchup.
It should be really good, honestly. I would imagine it would be anyway.
I hope it is. I hope it is.
They deserve it.
And if there is a God, whatever God you worship to, in whatever heaven is represented in your plane, AGM is calling this as a home game. Adrian Garcia Marquez gets this as a home match on radio in San Diego, as he should for that matchup. So you're going from minus 16 wind chill at 7 o'clock Eastern time to 11 o'clock Eastern time with San Diego FC
to like San Diego, which is like I know we've got California representatives in here, like San Diego with like immaculate temperatures most of the year. Like
yeah, there are sometimes it gets a little screwy.
I'm sure, but like it always seems really nice, John.
Yeah, especially in pictures. But yeah, so you've got the Triple C tomorrow. You have everybody trying to figure out who won and who lost transfer deadline day. And
we won't know that for months, by the way.
No
matter what anybody tells you.
No, I know, but you're gonna have
you know that.
No, I know. So it's gonna be intriguing to see all the backseat driving that has happened. Let me get the number really quickly on transfer day.
Okay.
574 deals completed in this window. Total value of the transfers, 1.1 billion pounds. 574 deals completed for 1.1 billion pounds. Like I said, this doesn't include like loan fees or anything like that. This is like straight up fees.
Yeah, this doesn't it not only just loan fees, but like future payments, like like bonuses. Some of those bonuses can add up. Again, we don't ever really know what like these transfer fees are for years down the line.
Kyle Aaron was a loan. Angel Gomes to Wolves is a loan. Kyle Aaron, Mallorca to Southampton, by the way. He was on loan to Feyenoord from Mallorca, wasn't getting a whole lot of minutes, and so now they've moved him to Southampton to try to help Southampton.
I'm amazed he hasn't come back here, John.
I know, because a lot of folks were thinking that he might.
Yeah, like there was a time, like there's a lot of clubs that think in the United States that could look at a Kyle Aaron and be like, you know what, we can use that. We can use him.
And
maybe he doesn't want to.
And that could be it. I mean, if he wants to stay over in Europe, I mean, we know what he did with the purple team. We know that was
fantastic, absolutely fantastic player.
And he seemed to get, and that's when he seemed to get that wanderlust to go to Europe, and he goes to Turkey. And
I didn't blame him at the time, though, man. Like he cashed in when he did, and he's just kind of been a vagabond about it all now, I guess.
I think that's probably the best way to phrase it. Yeah.
Which, look, there are a lot worse situations in life than being a guy who jumps around to different leagues in Europe and is getting a paycheck. Consistency of that paycheck remains to be seen. But if you're getting a paycheck, you get a paycheck. And if it's clearing, it's clearing. And you get to go play soccer overseas. I've had the same conversations with like friends I went to college with, who like out of school played Euro basketball for a couple years. They went over, played Euro basketball, I think in Portugal and one of the Eastern European countries. Don't think it was Turkey, but got to go play over in Europe and got to have the experience, got paid, came back, went to finish their degree and got back to life. Like there are worse fates than that, man.
And here are the numbers. I went and tried to get the numbers. So leaves the purple team. 43 goals and 87 appearances. 2018 goes to Besiktas. 83 matches, 31 goals. Then he goes
Highly
on.
respectable.
Yeah, then he goes on loan inside this Besiktas window. Goes on loan to Zulte Waregem for 29 matches and scores 7 goals. And that's Belgium, West Flanders in Belgium. So, or by the nickname SCV. So Zulte Waregem or SCV. Okay, great. 29 appearances while he was on loan from Besiktas, 7 goals. Then after Besiktas, he goes to Club Bruges, 9 matches, 1 goal. Loan to Valladolid, 19 matches, 8 goals. Then goes to Mallorca, 67 matches, 10 goals. And then from there, he's been on the loan. He's been on the loan circuit. He had the 8 matches at Feyenoord where he was on loan, nothing on the board there. Now he's at Southampton on loan. So, I mean, he's still producing to a certain degree, but I mean, he produced at Besiktas, kind of produced in Belgium for a couple of different teams, and goes to Valladolid and Mallorca. And in 23, 86 appearances over a 3-year period combined, and 18 goals and 86 appearances. And then he gets loaned out to Feyenoord, and it's like, didn't happen. So now he's going to go to Southampton. I'm intrigued.
I am too, and it sucks though, man, because he put up numbers at different places and just never stuck, and that sucks for him. Would love to have seen him, actually stick somewhere, John, because I'm sure the Canadian national team would also love to see him stick somewhere.
Yeah, it's like you need quality minutes in one. Well, could you imagine Jesse Marsh and Kyle Larin with Jonathan David up top?
I can, because I can also imagine, him going, somewhere else and actually putting up numbers. Like, God forbid, man. It'd be awesome to see for him, but it's just, I don't know. It'd be awesome to see for him. Be awesome to see for Canada. I know it is a little fetch now to make fun of Canada and make fun of Jesse Marsh.
Yeah,
but man, go back to that 2017 team with him and like a healthy Dom Dwyer. God, they were fun. We're not always good, but they were fun, which is all I ask for. Like, if you're not gonna be good, be fun.
Yes.
Be sloppy fun. Be like the drunk in the bar.
Yeah, sloppy fun.
Yeah.
Saw this, and because I have Fanatis, and you can get Fanatis.
How can you get Fanatis, John?
Go to fntz.co/soccer down here. And
why should you do that? Who does it help?
Well, it helps them, obviously. It helps our friends at Fanatis. It helps us. And it helps you, because then you get more leagues than you ever thought you could do anything with. If you get Fanatis, you get all the BNs, and I mean all the BNs, because then that means you get the CAF Champions League, which is going on right now, so you can see the best of the African continent. You get Ligue 1, you get the Polish League, which is where I'm eventually going to go with my next piece of conversation, and you get Tigo Sports, you get CATV. You get TVV if you want to add that to your stacks. Liga 1 out of Peru right now, as a matter of fact. Let me see what our friends at Fanatis have currently going on. They have Colombia. They have Deportivo Pereira and Junior. They have Argentinos Juniors and Belgrano. They have Union and Gimnasia Mendoza in Argentina. And they've also got baseball, which is a separate package. But so you get a lot of South American soccer in leagues that you never thought existed. You get like the B league, you get the second divisions too, to really get into your sickoness. If you were to look at what's going on in with Fanatis, you get to keep an eye out at Sporting Cristal. You get to keep an eye out on guys like Santi Sosa.
Yeah,
you get to see LGP doing his magic in Argentina. You got to see Pity Martinez until his contract was up at River. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. You get Teisei out of Argentina, CDO, Nuestra Tele, For the Fans, all the things all in one place at Fanatis. One subscription, one home, fntz.co/soccer down here. Now, a reason I brought up that promo, Poland. The Ekstraklasa finished up their match week today, and it was involving the team at the bottom of the table. And you're sitting there going, well, Nelson, why the hell are you telling me about the team that's dead ass last? Well, I'll tell you.
That's literally our forte, but carry on.
Well, the team is at Termalichka, and they are in a town of 750 people. Termalichka has a stadium that seats about 5,000, and they're in a town of less than 1,000. It is the smallest. Obviously, it's the smallest town in the country that has attached, a first division club, and I think it's the smallest population of any first division team in the world on this planet or any other. I mean, I don't know about Neptune or Jupiter. Maybe their first division has as a population
I don't
small.
even want to think about other planets' first divisions, John. Like that's
Yeah.
diabolical.
Legia Warsaw, according to our friends at UEFA Obscura, and I would recommend following them because they always come up with some really cool stuff. Legia Warsaw are the only Polish club to have never been relegated since World War II. Their relegation came back in 1936. Never finished below 10th in the league. 10th is their worst finish ever. They've done that 4 times. Now, and it did not happen today, but Brookbet Termalichka lost to Cracovia 1-0 at the home stadium in Termalichka. So Legia, after 19 matches, is in the relegation zone. There's another part of this. So only one team in the league has scored fewer goals than Legia this season. At the same time, the side sitting second in the table coming into today has conceded more goals than Legia Warsaw, and 12 of the 18 teams in the league have let in more defensively. Legia has been in European football, played in Conference League, didn't qualify. They finished 28th, so they got bumped out. And so they finished behind teams like the Lincoln Red Imps in Conference League. Right now,
It's a red flag.
no. Wisla Plock, who is in this past week's Picks of the Week, they were top of the table and 14 points. It didn't change through the weekend. 14 points separate top to bottom in this league. Top to bottom, separated by 14 points. Top team has 33. Bottom team has 19.
Okay.
Vidjev Luj, who spent more money than the entire La Liga at one point during the January transfer window, and Vidjev Luj is the home for Osman Bukhari. Yeah, Luj thought that bringing in Osman Bukhari from Austin was a wise move. And so they helped out Austin getting rid of one of their DPs from last season. They brought him over, and so he's in Poland. He's one of the few guys last time out for Luj that actually had a positive in the fantasy rankings. But they're stuck in the relegation zone, third highest market value in the league. And so right now, you have Luj at 16th out of 18 teams. They're in the relegation zone. They've lost 4 or 5. They're at 20 points. Legia Warsaw is at 19 points. And the only reason that they're not bottom is because Termalichka has a worse goal difference. So you have two of the heavy hitters right now in Poland, Luj and Legia Warsaw, second to last and next to last in a league of 18 teams where top to bottom you are separated by 14 points. Wisla Plock, who is recently promoted, is the team at the top of the table at 33 points, and they have a superior goal difference to Gornik Zabrze, who is currently in second. Cracóvia's win today put them in fourth. And so literally Wisla Plock has scored 23 goals this year, and they are, let's see, a handful of teams are below them in offense. Some teams have scored 20, and actually our Arka Zhedinja has only scored 15. But they're one of the weakest offensive teams in the league, one of the best defensive teams in the league. They have the best defense by far. They've only given up 13 goals all season long. So Legia Warsaw and Vidjev Luj, right now, both teams heavy hitters, both in the relegation zone in a league that is separated by 14 points. If you don't follow UEFA Obscura on the 280, follow it because they always come up with some really cool stuff. And yeah, today I watched the Polish league and I was watching people freeze. It was 12 degrees for the Vidjev Luj match yesterday, 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and they were playing.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They're tough. They can handle it.
Yes, yeah, allegedly. And I'm watching. So let's see. I'm watching.
I mean, it's better than -18 wind chill, right?
Yeah, well, that's tomorrow. I mean, literally, I'll be watching that tomorrow. I want to say it's probably going to be on FS2 or on 2DNA. But no, I'll be watching that, and I will be sitting there going, "Damn, that's cold." If we thought we had it bad, damn, that's cold.
Yeah, y'all did think y'all had it bad. That was really funny for me. Because while everybody was getting hit with snow, like out here it was like 50 degrees and sunny.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a horrific winter out here, in the sense that like we haven't gotten snow and we need snow because snow melt contributes to the water runoff.
Yeah.
And it hasn't happened, and it's also screwing with ski season.
I mean, come on now. Oh,
Not that I ski.
no. BN tomorrow actually continues our coverage of the Ekstraklasa with Piast Gliwice and Lech Poznan at 2:30. So FS2 does have the 9 o'clock with Olympia and America and San Diego FC and Pumas at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Who's got the 7 o'clock? Does anybody have the 7 o'clock? I know that One Soccer in Canada has the 7 o'clock because it is a home game for Forge. But we have St. Mirren Hearts, Arsenal, and Chelsea in the League Cup tomorrow. A couple of matches, Championship, League One, League Two, French Cup with Marseille and Rennes. But yeah, apparently FOX and 2 to NA only have the 9 and the 11. You got to watch the 7 o'clock on One Soccer and our friends up north of the border. So if you're going to watch it, you better find a bootleg VPN or subscribe to One Soccer in Canada.
Yep.
I do the latter, by the way. I actually do have a subscription to One Soccer, so I can watch those things and keep an eye on our buddy Christian Jack and find out what's going on. Actually, and I give KJ credit. We're going to run the audio of this tomorrow morning, but he's doing a stand-up and he's juggling snowballs inside Hamilton Stadium to discuss how cold it is while he's doing his stand-up. So very, very good stuff from our buddy Christian Jack. I've never juggled in a stand-up because
I've never juggled at all, so it doesn't.
I can't juggle, period. I'm trying to think. Okay, so tomorrow on SDHAM, we'll have our Texter update. I'm going to try and find that audio of him trying to explain what's going on with the $25 million.
Not you, the other John.
Yeah, Texter. So we'll have a Texter update. We're going to have Jordan Gardner coming in at 10 o'clock, the new owner of Kelty Hearts at the bottom of the Scottish League One. Find out why. And why he's building his MCO and American investment and all that kind of stuff. So tomorrow it'll be Conca Champions. We're going to look at Oceania. And our buddy William Cardona scored again for Vanuatu United as the league's offenses have picked up on the island of New Guinea, by the way. So you're getting a lot of Donnybrooks. We had a 6-goal thriller the other day. It was a 3-3 draw. So we'll talk Oceania. We'll probably talk Obed Vargas, run a little bit from Sounder at Heart, talk Conca Champions. We're going to get into Allen St. Maximin and just how stupid people can be in stupidity down here and let you know what else is going on. But yeah, John Texter, we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into all the other stuff. We'll dig into transfers. What else is on your mind, sir, when it comes to what's going on overseas? What do folks need to keep an eye
on? Again, like we talked about earlier, John, we don't really know the full financial impact of Windows until time down the road because of the way performance incentives work, because of the way sell-on fees work.
Yeah, I know.
Good on Seattle and Obed Vargas getting this across the line. I'm with you. My big concern, and I think it fits accordingly that won't talk to the coffee god himself until Thursday morning. Nico won't be on until Thursday morning, which gives this a couple more days to breathe, which I think is a good thing, John.
Yeah.
Because giving this a couple more days to breathe, numbers to get sorted, you're not guessing as much because when these kind of deals hit, you get the initial report and the best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Like someone can genuinely want to give accurate reporting, and it's really tricky with numbers, especially when you're getting lost in translation between dollars and euro or pounds or anything else in the world.
Oh God.
It can get tricky, so you might hear, it's for 20 million. And you're like, well, $20 million or euro. You get left on red and you're like, I don't know, 20 million. Which one is it? I don't know. No, this gives you a couple days for it to breathe. It's exciting for a guy like Obed Vargas. Like I said, I share the same concerns you do. That will he get the playing time?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see more guys, hopefully like this, make those moves, and hopefully they'll make moves into situations where they can grow, where it's not like he moved to Atletico Madrid. Then what happened? He got loaned to like 5 teams. But he grew? Not really. And then Martin Odegaard took how many years, John, to form into a functioning contributing professional at a super, super high level.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say he couldn't play. Obviously, he could play. But it took a while for all that to click. So hopefully Obed Vargas, it clicks.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye also, and remember, please, that just because transfer windows in Europe, we will repeat this ad nauseum. Europe is not the be all end all. The world does not begin and end with the English league and the English window.
Mm-hmm.
That is, as that window comes to an end, MLS isn't open yet. Now it is going to be tricky for MLS because if you want to bring in somebody from one of those leagues, they're not in a situation where they can go out and buy somebody because their window is closed. MLS's window is open. So keep that in mind when you see rumors popping up. Again, always please check your sources.
Yes.
Please check your sources.
Yes.
Somebody says something that's too good to be true.
It
A lot of
probably
times
is.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yes.
lot of times it is. And keep an eye out as well on the South American markets because they are not closed yet.
No. Turkey, I think, has another 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I believe so.
And so you can keep an eye on that
The
as
Fred rumor.
yes.
For those that don't know, there was a to my knowledge unsubstantiated, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, to an unsubstantiated rumor that Atlanta United had reached out. I believe Ajax as well alleged, according to this rumor, Ajax had too reached out about Brazilian midfielder Fred, which is like 10
Oh,
million, which would have been like 10 million, and that's a DP right there, which you don't have a spot for. And insane salary obligations for you to do something like that. Um, again, check your sources. Like, and
uh-huh.
it's fun to look at these things, man. Like, somebody pops off, and I think we're batting 500 with Turkish rumors in the last few years. Saba was, and credit to Doug because like Doug was adamant when that whole thing was going. He's like, it's Saba, guys,
Mm.
and the Turkish reporters not fully understanding MLS because MLS is Calvin ball. Were like, Diego Rossi's going to Atlanta, and Doug was like, no, he's not. It's
No,
Saba. It
yes.
was Saba. It was just I think Atlanta had the rights.
Yes.
So it is. Check your sources and just know that things can get lost in translation, and not everything that's wrong is malicious.
Yes. By the way,
By the way,
Juve,
scored.
yes. Headline: Juventus make contact for sensational Mauro Icardi move.
We've talked ourselves into this last week, and I can't tell you how much I have talked myself into Mauro Icardi, Atlanta United.
Oh my God! Make it
Like if
Montreal.
you do it,
Just Montreal. From Get Italian Football News yesterday, 9:15 in the morning.
please do it.
Juve have officially initiated a move for Galatasaray striker Mauro Icardi as they look to land a high-profile reinforcement for the forward line. According to Alfredo Padula, the Bianconeri have already made the first of inquiries to understand the feasibility of bringing the Argentine back to Serie A. Notably, the operation is now firmly underway, though the success of the transfer will hinge entirely on the stance of the Galatasaray president. The Turkish club's leadership is currently considering whether to open the door to a departure, and their final decision will be the decisive factor in allowing negotiations to enter a concrete phase. Furthermore, the interest from Turin represents a significant return of flame for a player. Here's get it tight. Represents a significant return of flame. Translation for a player who has long been linked with the club throughout his career. Consequently, and like I said, this was yesterday morning. The next few hours will be crucial to see if the Turkish side is willing to sit at the negotiating table. If Galatasaray presidency provides the necessary opening, Juve are prepared to accelerate their efforts to finalize a deal that would mark one of the most significant moves of the January market. That's from Kaushtu Pandey from Get Italian Football News. So if it ain't CF Montreal and it ain't Atlanta United, maybe remember the Turkish window.
One of my favorite things, and I believe he'd be on a free, John.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of contract. One of my favorite things I ever saw was a football reporter once talking about Lane Kiffin, who, by the way, how old do you think Lane Kiffin is?
Oh, 45.
He's 50, but 45 feels right, doesn't it?
I know.
But like I've this guy like one I think it was Charles Robinson once said that like Lane Kiffin being at the time like 44, 45 is like Lane Kiffin for being that young has lived like 5 football lifetimes. Like go look at Lane Kiffin's CV and his history, and the man has lived like 5 coaching careers in less than one. Mario Accardi's been doing this at a professional level since 2011.
Yeah.
Mario Accardi is 32 years old. He'll be 33 in this month.
Crazy.
It feels like Mario Accardi has had like 3 football lifetimes, and a lot of that is the off the field Wanda stuff. But like, it still feels like he's lived like 3 football lifetimes.
I swear to God, he and Lissandro Lopez were born in the same hospital.
Yes, and not that Lissandro Lopez, the other one. There's actually 2 of them.
Yes.
But we mean like the 40-year-old one.
Yes.
Who was eternally disrespected by Atlanta United fans and media. And I will never get over it. Just because you didn't recognize the name doesn't mean he wasn't a legend. That man, and I get he left during COVID to go back to family. He had extenuating circumstances. Don't get me wrong. I will always feel like the man got did dirty here by people, like did not get his flowers just because he didn't score as much in with a team or a league that you followed religiously. Man, like Sandro Lopez was great.
Yes.
I stay petty about that one. But yeah, man, Mario Accardi would like see how many games he did. 188 at Inter Milan. Yeah, this could get dumb. Let's do it. Send him to Juve. That'll piss everybody off.
Absolutely. So on that note, keep an eye on your Scotland, because Aberdeen right now is still in the lower half. They're in the
they're below the split. I promised Jason we talk about the split because he's not here and I wanted to torment him.
Yeah.
They are on the south side of the split. God, that club's a mess. I tell you a fun one to watch, John, on the south side of the split if you want to like watch a rock fight is Dundee and Dundee United are like closing in on each other. And I would be tickled if both of them just climbed Aberdeen and like both of them are just fighting for a chance to get into the top 6. Great. Would love that.
Awesome. Okay. So who are the coaches that we need to pay attention to in Scotland? Where are they now? Derek McInnes, Jimmy Thielen. Who are the
Jimmy Thielen's gone. He was at Aberdeen.
Okay.
Aberdeen's been cycling coaches since Derek McInnes left.
Okay.
They brought in Stephen Glass. Didn't work. Like it just like the results weren't there and they got impatient and they just kind of have like yo-yoed back and forth now. Like Derek McInnes, who's at Hearts now, is a very defensive manager. It's very like, knife between the teeth defensive, lots of set pieces. It kind of gives it's giving LAFC at times. Not as explosive as LAFC is on the counter. Like LAFC is like a National Geographic documentary on the counter. It's beautiful and chaotic. And like you just get guys like you can just hear the Nat Geo music when Dennis Boyanga, whom also might be on the move.
Fluminense, $15 million on the table, apparently.
Yeah, Fluminense wants Dennis Boyanga. Allegedly Miami did too, and God bless you, Miami.
Oh, and God bless you, Denny Bouanga, for being cryptic on your social media.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Strikers and wide receivers, the most mentally unwell human beings in sport. Soccer strikers and wide receivers in football, the most mentally unhinged human beings playing professional sports at any given moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so it is a kind of a more rough and tumble version of what LAFC does with like countering and set pieces and being defensive at times and taking your chances when you get them. But Derek McInnes was at Aberdeen forever, leaves. They bring in Stephen Glass, which is a tonal shift into more of an attacking style. It works early, then kind of flames out. Injuries kind of doom them as well. Then they go back to a more defensive style. Then they go back to more of an attacking style. Jimmy Thielen, who's a little more attacking. Like it's just yo-yoed back and forth with Aberdeen. They can't decide what they want to be. Therefore, they can't actually use a window correctly because they can't build a team consistently more than 2 windows at a time for what they want to play. And they've just kind of been lost in the woods, in my opinion. Not deciding how they want, like not sticking to a philosophy of a manager. Jim Goodwin is in there at one point who is should just somebody get the man a Just for Men's ad. And I mean that complimentary. Like He's got a gorgeous set of salt and pepper going on there with the beard and all. Like just from In Touch of Gray is just built for Jim Goodwin.
Well, I think that the second that Jim Goodwin announced his coaching retirement, his hair just turns jet black.
I hope so. It's kind of like we found out that after Scott Brown, the Scottish midfielder, retired, that he wasn't actually bald. He was shaving his head the entire time, which is some absolute degenerate activity because he thought it made him look tougher.
Yeah.
But then he started like after he quit playing, he grew his hair out. It was like and John, this is not a reference for you. This is a reference for like Ricky if he's listening later. It's like when Krillin let his hair grow out in Dragon Ball after Dragon Ball Z, after he retired from fighting and he quit like waxing his head. It's kind of like that. You're like, huh, you can grow hair this whole time. Wow, you must really be insane. It's same thing, but yeah. Jim Goodwin's hair just goes to jet black. I hope he keeps that salt and pepper. It looks good, but he's at Dundee United right now. Martin O'Neill is still in top of Celtic. Derek McGuinness, formerly of Aberdeen, has jumped around. He's at Hearts now. They're in first place by 6 points. It'd be the first time since God knows when that Scottish team won the league that was not Celtic or Rangers. We should all cheer for that just because it'll piss everyone off.
Yes. We like that. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else is going on. Oh, Cesar Arujo, officially official. Tigres announced that they have picked him up. Uruguayan arrives on a free from the purple team, signing a 4-year deal. So Cesar Arujo is now the new reinforcement for Tigres, and that has come down from Cesar Luis Merlo as of 8 minutes.
Something we always talk about, John, with football especially, is how much like recruiting is an eternal. You're just eternally recruiting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like the ones that fall off is because they just even if you take a year off, you're doomed.
Mm-hmm.
I love the business that Orlando has done over the last few years. They've also sold a number of those guys, and now they're going to have to turn around and do that business again. And it is a never-ending rotating door, and it's going to be exhausting. They're going to need to hit on these again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can. I think they have a good system in place. It's just nobody bats 1,000. So if it doesn't click, I hope they're patient with it.
Yes.
For Oscar's sake.
Yes. And Oscar and we got to get that reminds me. We got to get Mike Gramajo on before the season starts. Because Oscar wasn't too happy about the lack of resources and reinforcements that came in. And do I still have that soundbite buried, or did I get rid of it? Hang on just a second. Just this is for my own edification. I'm not going to play it. I just want to make sure that it's. Did I get rid of it? No, I did not. Okay, so it does still exist. Okay, good. I kept it.
Yeah, man, like they lost a lot of explosiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of you brought in young explosive guys, they performed, you sold them for a profit. It's part of the business model, man.
Yes.
Bring up some guys from that academy. Seen that academy too. A couple times now come to Atlanta and have to play against U17s and U19s. And they are not bad. Nick Schmaltz has 2 goals in the first 10 minutes for the Mammoth. Sorry. I have to cling to something with hockey.
Oh, I know.
The Thrashers will always be there in my heart, and the Jets will always suffer the damnational fires of hell because it's not their fault, but I'm still gonna be mad at them.
Understood.
It's not the fans of Winnipeg's fault. Let me rephrase that.
No, it's not theirs.
It's ASG's fault.
Golasso Junior off the free kick in the 68th minute. Lovely bending piece. So Junior scores in the 68th, and they're now tied at 1 with Deportivo Pereira in the Primera A in Colombia.
So, but this is what's always going to be important for a team like Orlando and any of the teams that are part of this business model and in MLS is when you had those young players. Remember, they got to an Eastern Conference final 2 years ago.
Yeah,
hosted Red Bulls and lost. They got played off the field in their own park.
Yeah,
that was their chance, John. As far as I'm concerned, that was their chance. That they didn't take it.
They did not. Once again tomorrow morning, SDHAM, Texter, Oceania, and the OFC Pro League. continuing adventures of William Cardona. He's balling out. We've got Obed Vargas, Conca Champions, Alan St. Maximin, any of the other news that's coming across the pike. And then, like I said, Conca Champions, and we're going to get into John Texter once again. I got to figure out when to play that, because if Jordan Gardner hops in and it's like at the end of the 9 o'clock hour when we're listening to John Texter and describing that, he might just turn tail and run. But we're going to have Jordan Gardner come on and talk about his MCO that he is currently building and all of that kind of stuff. And then Wednesday, we're going to have Ball Watchers, our friends from St. Louis, on SDHAM with our buddy Dylan Butler. Then Nino and Nico on Thursday. Obviously, we'll talk about Obed Vargas there. And it looks like our buddy John Arnold is going to come in on Friday and break everything down from match day 1 from the 5 that are hanging out, the 5 matchups in Conca Champions. So I will, sir, actually, let me thank the Soccer for Good OG for hanging in, for David, for, let's see, who else am I missing?
Alex was here earlier.
Alex was here earlier.
I probably chased him away.
Okay. So then thanks to all of them for being in the Twitch pitch, and thanks to all of you folk for hanging out as you always do here on SOT. So be back at it again this time next week. Hopefully Jason will have recovered, and back at it again tomorrow morning in less than about 11 hours. We're going to do SDHAM at 9:05 a.m. Eastern time here on all of the networks. So I will leave it to you, sir, to get us out of here. What say you?
Mucha plata, y'all. Mucha hero, y'all. Have a good night.
What he said.
It's only 8 o'clock for me.